Have a wine with Sydney food writer Lisa Diminor as we take you behind the scenes where the locals like to play.
Hi guys, I'm having a wine at my local wine bar, a modern Italian eatery, and Bondi's Osteria with swag, CicciaBella. I try to compose a riddle about the fellow yogi and hip-hop lover, boundary-pushing, pot-stirring chef I'm lucky to sit with today, but decided not to embarrass myself in the process of describing his defying and enigmatic talent. Mitch Orr puts the kombu in our pasta and sesame on our eggplant, and we love it. Mitch, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Mitch, on paper and on the plate, you could be seen as an enigma. How do you view yourself?
I don't really know what enigma means, so...
Perplexing, mysterious?
Perplexing is good. I don't know if I'm mysterious. I think I'm pretty straightforward.
I think with the husky voice, you got the mysterious
yeah,
thing.
it's mysterious now because I've lost my voice, yeah.
But you get a kick out of surprising people, especially with your food.
Yeah, I do, I guess. I don't know, sometimes I think I'm underrated. Sometimes I think maybe all the talking I've done over the years is throwing people off what I actually do, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. People can think whatever they want. That's up to them.
Yeah,
it doesn't really worry me.
In your industry, chefs are stereotyped and are conducive to high stress or poor diet and an imbalanced lifestyle. Maurice liked that you were healthy. How do you manage to avoid these occupational pitfalls?
I guess I've never really been a partier or a big drinker or a drug taker for that matter. You know, not that I haven't done any of those things, but it's never really been a big part of my life, and it's never really been an escape for me or that kind of thing. I always say I'm lazy enough as it is. I don't need a hangover to couple with that. So, yeah, I don't know. I've always rather getting up in the morning and going for a swim or enjoying the day than spending it in bed feeling like rat shit, you know? So,
absolutely.
You know, yoga's a big part of that. Pilates, swimming, doing laps of icebergs, jumping in the ocean, all that kind of stuff. And, or, you know, even just being on the other side of the pass and enjoying the industry. I love being a customer in the industry as well.
Yeah.
And seeing what my friends are doing and all the talent that we have here in Sydney. So that's a big part of relaxing for me as well, is going out and enjoying the other side.
I was going to say the Bondi life alludes to that idyllic, pared back, healthier life, but you've already been living it.
Yeah. The moving to Bondi, I haven't moving my work life to Bondi hasn't really changed anything I do because I was already in that rhythm. Yeah. It's more just I can come to icebergs and go for a swim and cruise down the hill to work rather than going back to Rushcutters Bay, which makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it's another half hour of sun that I can get, which is nice.
Easy transition.
Yeah.
I read dough is a new stress ball. How do you cope with a bad day at the office?
It depends. Like, I often say that our industry isn't like any other. It's not emails back and forward and, oh, you know, this annoyed me today and I'll wait for an email to reply. And our industry is very immediate and everything happens in the moment, especially during service, because customers don't care why they're waiting. They just know they're waiting, you know, so stuff's immediate. So sometimes you just have to push past it, and what happens in the heat of the moment happens in the heat of the moment, and you let it go after service.
Yeah.
You know, but that being said, I'm not really angry or anything like that these days, and I think if I get to yoga 3 or 4 times a week, most things don't throw me. You know, if I've been thrown out of my rhythm and I'm not doing the things outside of work that I like to do, that's when the little things will get to me more.
So you just keep coming back to your yoga practice and staying mindful.
You know, like I still get stuck in the moment and be stressed, or someone, you know, might no-show to work and give you no notice and leave and throw your whole shit out of whack, and you might have you might be in a bad mood after that all day, but I think I've had enough experience now that I don't let it throw me off as much as it would have used to.
Well, it's good to know you're still human.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like when Acme closed and stuff, I went to therapy to work through that and all that kind of stuff too, so.
Yeah, I'm a fellow yogi as well, and they just keep telling you, just come back to the mat, remember why you're here.
Just like I go to One Hot Yoga in Potts Point, which is a lovely studio with some really great teachers, and I like the sweat and sweating out the toxins and, you know,
absolutely.
Feeling that.
Everything leaving you.
Yeah, you know, so that's a good release.
That's your process.
You always, and even Pilates, like sometimes I go to Pilates in the worst mood because I go first thing in the morning and I do a private class, and I've been seeing the instructor for a long time, and she doesn't put up with my shit, and I'll go in really grumpy and I really don't want to be there. But when I leave, I feel 100 times better every time.
Tough love.
Yeah.
We all need it. Speaking of carbohydrates, what started your preoccupation with pasta, and would you call it an obsession?
I kind of just fell into it in the early years of my career. The first Hatted restaurant I worked at was Lo Studio, which was in the Paramount Hotel back in the day, which was a well-known Italian restaurant, and it was run by Chef Danny Russo, who was well-known at the time for his pasta.
Yeah.
And I just kind of fell into that and realised I had a talent for it, an aptitude for it, and realised it was a skill that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people don't realise how much goes into making pasta and making a level of pasta that's not just flour and eggs cooked in water.
Yeah.
You know, like
elevating it.
There's levels to it. And I still think a lot of people don't understand that. But, you know, it is what it is. So that's kind of what I fell into, and that's what most of my training became. And I don't know if it's an obsession, but I do enjoy making it. But I also enjoy not being stuck in tradition and thinking about it more like noodles, or, you know, it's a vessel for other things as well.
Absolutely. Do you see it as a canvas?
Yeah, it's you know, like you can put anything in pasta really, you know, and it's the perfect sharing food, and it's the perfect communal food, and everyone, even in this gluten-free crazy age, everyone still loves a fucking bowl of pasta, you know.
Why Asian with Italian?
I
do love your spaghetti with kombu, by the way. It works. It's so Moorish.
It's like most of my training, as I said, is in Italian food, but I love eating Asian food. You know, 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to go out to eat, I'm going to go and eat something with Asian flavours. So, you know, that because that's my palate, that naturally comes across. But it's also because there's so many natural interweaving ingredients and flavour profiles and just things that make sense. Rice is in Asian cuisine, especially Japanese cuisine. Rice is in both cuisines. Noodles, umami, prosciutto, tomato, parmesan, all that kind of stuff. I'm big on umami. So the crossovers are really natural and they fit together. They're not forced.
Absolutely.
You know, they make sense.
And you see a lot of that with Italian, like with the tomatoes and the garlic. They're all umami flavoured profiles.
Exactly.
Before establishing yourself as the chef who likes to mix it up, did you have any concerns about traditionalists, or do you see, which I think you do, rules as a challenge?
If I didn't have the understanding and the training that I have in classical food, Italian food, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. If I hadn't worked at Ciccia and learned Japanese techniques and flavour profiles, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. Without having a good base and understanding of why things are and where they came from, you can't then remix them and know what works. And that's where people, they try and skip steps, you know?
Start with their foundations.
Yeah, they try and rush to the end point and not put in the work beforehand, and that's why a lot of product is subpar and doesn't work, you know? So you need to understand where things come from in order to take them in a different direction.
Absolutely.
That being said, I don't fuck with carbonara.
Look, CicciaBella is not the place you come to fill up on one large pizza or one big bowl of pasta and leave stuffed and lethargic. The plates are smaller, I say smarter, with regionality and intention of being part of the meal rather than the whole. Tell me about the concept behind this.
The concept is it's a modern osteria. It's very, it's a part of Bondi. It's very seasonal and light and fresh. And, you know, that's the way I like to eat. I like to eat sharing. I don't understand people that want a big bowl of one thing to themselves, especially in a social environment. I get very bored too. I want lots of things on the table that I can pick at. And that's very much the Italian way as well. Eating with your family, eating with your friends or your community, and sharing and laughing and enjoying something together. So that's where it comes from. And some people don't like sharing, and that's fine, and we'll cater to them. But this is what CicciaBella's for, is to come and have a good time and interact with your friends and interact with the staff and see what's going on in the kitchen and have a whole range of flavours and food going on and taste lots of stuff.
And it's a talking point too, like try this, what's that like?
Exactly.
Pass that over here.
We still want you to leave full. We still want you to leave full and happy. But we want you to try a whole bunch of shit too.
Yeah.
You know?
Cooking over or around flames adds dimension to any dish, and the wood fire oven's not just being used for the pizzettes, but also unlikely dishes like the vongole. What's next to go in the oven?
We put a lot of things in there. At the moment, we're roasting peppers in there, and then just marinating them in some rice wine vinegar, brown sugar and mint, and they're really surprisingly incredible. They're one of my favourite things on the menu at the moment.
They're served cold?
Yeah, just cold, and they're just so simple but so tasty. We do our whole fish in the wood fire. We do our octopus in the wood fire. As you said, we do the vongole in there, and then of course the pizzas. And we always look at ways we can use it, whether it's roasting stuff in there, like our eggplants roast, like smoked in there as well, first thing in the morning. So, we try and use it for as much as we can, while still being mindful that it's got to sit at 400 degrees to cook the pizzas. So it's not like other wood fire cooking where it's lower. It's still a pizza oven at the end of the day, so we have to be careful what we're doing and how we're using it and be smart about it.
In and out. I'm a novice when it comes to Italian grapes, and with a predominantly Italian wine list, how important is it, like with your food, that we try something different and step outside our comfort zone?
Yeah, I think, the wine list is natural leaning and, interesting. There's a lot of... It's a very cool wine list in the fact that every wine has some little notes about it. So might not be a Sauvignon Blanc or a Chardonnay or whatever. You can find things that are similar styles with different grapes that you will like. And I don't drink really. I know what I like, and I have a glass or a mouthful if there's something open. But for me, I don't really get you have to match this with that and you have to have this with this. If you want to drink that bottle of wine, fucking drink it.
It's
drink
so subjective.
What you want and eat what you want. So, that's the way the wine list is as well. It's really fun. It's really interesting, but it's not that different either. It's if you spend a bit of time and look at it and talk to your waiter, there's always something for you there. It's not all weird and wacky.
Absolutely.
There's a lot that's really approachable, but we're approaching it from a different way and not just giving you the same shit that everyone is.
Mitch, what is your go-to dish here at CicciaBella's?
I just mentioned the peppers. I'm also really loving the mustard greens that we're doing at the moment on the snacks. I'm kind of eating them every day. Obviously the pastas, as you mentioned, the spaghetti with garlic.
That is my favourite.
Chili and kombu is probably my favourite on the menu at the moment, and also the sausage pizza.
Okay, we'll have to give that one a go. Mitch, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come sit with me. Thanks, Mitch.
Bye.
You're listening to Have a Wine, your audio review on eating, drinking, and taking the long way home. For guest updates, follow @HaveAWine as we chat to serious talent and industry insiders. Subscribe and stay curious, Sydney.